Hey guys, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to my virtual book launch of Transcendence. And I hope you saw my little intro. I didn't see it. I had to keep refreshing. Sorry, I'm late. I'm late to my own party. Anyway, let's get going. First, I just want to thank my spirit guides for helping me write this book. And also, my son, Sammy, he helped me write this book. So the book is about, after my son died, I had quite a spiritual awakening, which was a really interesting thing. It's not something I could explain in so many words, although I try to in the book. But I don't know where my notes are. People keep knocking at my door. My internet's not working. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway, and it took me like 4 years to even start writing it because it was just so heavy. But I promise only the first chapter is sad. The rest is funny or interesting, would probably be a better word to describe it. And anyway, so I want to read a passage for you guys. Oh, do you guys remember Savvy Single Girl? I don't know if you guys were my original subscribers, the Savvy Single Girl, when I used to write for the magazine. Yeah, I'm still savvy and I'm still single. Just don't go by that nickname anymore. But the reason I stopped doing that is because my editor said, just make it funny, and come to the right place, brother. Funny is my middle name. Sarcasm. It's a real thing. But the more I got into it, the more I realized that the person that you choose to partner up with is like a really big decision. It's no laughing matter. It could like really make or break your life. And after my spiritual awakening, I realized that the whole purpose of life is to come back to and to learn unconditional love. So, for all you Savvy Single Girl fans, I'm going to read an excerpt from chapter 7 entitled Surrender. All right, you guys ready? I need my glasses. Okay. Little tabbies. The worst dates I ever went on were with a guy I'll call Mr. High and Mighty. We met at an event through a mutual friend. She giggled and told me he'd sold his company for hundreds of millions of dollars. I didn't give a shit about that, but he was exactly my type. Ivy League educated, intelligent, and nerdy Jewish guy. I guess I'm a sapiosexual person, but I don't like labels. Only, I shouldn't have immediately thought he was intelligent just because he went to an Ivy League school. For our first date, he wanted to make it a group thing because he had some friends in town. I was fine with that idea. It took the pressure off of the whole first date thing. So I invited a couple of girlfriends and we headed down to the SLS in South Beach. The first thing Mr. High and Mighty did was make fun of my sober friend. He just wouldn't stop ragging on her for not having an alcoholic beverage. What kind of person does that? I was proud of her for getting clean and sober. It's not easy in this town. I was so happy for her that I was even going to have an extra cocktail myself in her honor. She pretended like she didn't hear him. She's smarter than he is, now that I think about it. Luckily, my other girlfriend stepped in and took over. They both went to Harvard, and her wits and intelligence matched, maybe even surpassed his. Except it became apparent that he didn't believe she went to Harvard, so he started to question and test her. He was asking her about specific buildings on campus and all that jazz, and she snapped back with all the right answers. But for some weird reason, he just kept going and tried to prove himself right. Holy shit, was he serious? Apparently, an Ivy League education doesn't buy you any emotional intelligence, social skills, or tact. None. Zero. Nada. But me being me, I decided to go out with him again and give him a second chance. Doesn't everyone deserve a second chance? Maybe he was trying too hard to look cool in front of his friends, but Lord knows he was way too old to be doing that. Besides, this was the type of guy that didn't have friends. He had employees. I couldn't imagine anyone that surrounded him wasn't somehow on his payroll. I only needed to have been sitting next to him for about 42 minutes to realize that his company was an absolute buzzkill, even with that extra cocktail. Anywho, for the second date, we went to some shitty Mexican restaurant up the street from my apartment. We went there because he made me decide where we were going to eat. I was already pissed. Wasn't the guy supposed to make these decisions? I mean, sure. It's nice if the guy asked for input on what I liked eating, but I hated making the final call. Wasn't he the man? So we're sitting there waiting for the food to arrive, and I'm trying to get a Wi Fi signal on my phone to get more info about something we were talking about. He said, "Hey, I'm good with this kind of thing," and grabbed my phone from my hand. He proceeded to sit there and scroll through my phone for what seemed like forever. I was flabbergasted. I could only describe the situation as amusing. What was he even looking at? The camera roll? Past text messages? We were on a second date. I hadn't even let him touch me. Yet there he was, acting all suspicious, like a jealous boyfriend. But I have absolutely nothing to hide, so I didn't stop him. Scroll away, you little bitch. Then he decided we should play a game where we told each other what body part we hated about ourselves the most. Pardon me? I folded my arms across my chest and gave him a glare. I didn't think that sounded like a fun game, and I hoped my body language would convey that message. But of course, he didn't notice. He was too busy looking at my phone. So I snatched my phone back and I said, "You first." He waved his hand to dismiss me and insisted I go first. To be honest, I couldn't understand where he was going with this. I told him, "I really like all my body parts. Thank you very much." He told me I was full of shit. He wore glasses. I'm assumed he needed an update. His prescription, which I need an update on my prescription too. He could see what I looked like, right? I took another swig of my beer, as this was way too much to deal with while being this sober. Yet he insisted I come up with a body part of myself I hated. Was I not going to get to eat if I didn't come up with something? What the hell was he thinking? I'm not a stick in the mud, but truthfully, I had to really give it some thought. Then I finally said, "Well, I guess the top of my hands look older than I really am. What do you think?" And he agreed with me. I was really trying hard not to shake my head and roll my eyes, and I said, "Okay, it's your turn." He claimed he had never said he was going to share which body part he hated the most about himself. I couldn't believe it. But then I understood. He hated all of his body parts. He hated himself. I already knew that the man with the most inflated ego was also the most insecure. The huge ego is an attempt to cover up this fact, and it was so obvious and sad. Whatever. I should have left right then and there, but I was hungry. Sometimes being human is so damn inconvenient. I ate that shitty Mexican food, and since we were sitting outside, he lit up a cigar. As he took a long drag, he informed me that if I ever smoked a cigarette, he would never kiss me. With my mouth agape, my only thought was, did I give you the impression I wouldn't kiss you? Then he asked me what kind of underwear I wore. I'm not embarrassed by these types of questions, so I told him I like hanky-panky. This guy flew into a rage. Apparently, one of its two ex-wives liked hankies, and he hated them. How could this dude have such a strong emotions about something he never had to wear? Or maybe he was wearing them. I persisted in my pursuit to defend my hanky-pankies because they're comfortable, goddammit. But he just would not let it go. I decided right then and there that he would never be seeing my hankies, like ever. I wouldn't even wait for the check. I had to get out of there. I don't even think I thanked him for dinner like I usually would. I made up some flimsy excuse and got the hell out. I berated myself the whole way home for not listening to what that gut feeling had to say about him. Damn it all to hell. I was literally about ready to snap. Shit was about to pop off up in here, and it would not be pretty. The next day, I realized I had to do something about this, so I started an anonymous rant on Facebook called Reasons You're Not Boyfriend Material. And it was based on Mr. Shady and Mr. High and Mighty. You guys have to read the book to find out who Mr. Shady is. I'm sorry. This shit was insane and everything went viral. I couldn't even make this shit up if I tried. I am not that clever. When I told Mr. Shady, he was unimpressed and seemed unfazed. It was like he had zero emotions, and I wondered how he pulled that off. Some people found my posts hilarious. Others were downright angry. I even had one jealous woman message to tell me I would probably never go on another date again in my entire life. But you know what? I didn't give one flying fuck, and I told her that. This stuff was just too juicy and ridiculous. I had to share it. I wanted everyone to know how ridiculous men were behaving these days. Everyone was telling me that I should write a book. Well, here's the book. Anyway, oh my God, the lights are making me sweat. So yeah, that's one of the funny excerpts from my memoir. And it is available on Amazon and in Barnes and Noble. And if you go to my website, it's the first link in the description box. And make sure you subscribe and share with your friends because I got a lot more great content coming down the pike. Thanks for joining me.